we want to talk about evictions in the moratorium. I'm joined by attorney Holly Owner from Legal Aid NC. We're going to break down what the governor's eviction moratorium means. So a lot of folks heard that the moratorium now extends to December 31st, and they think, okay, I get to stay and I don't have to do anything, but that's not the case.
Right. So thank you for having me. The federal government instituted a federal eviction moratorium through the CDC. That was back on September 4th. What the governor's order did, which we heard about yesterday afternoon, it goes into effect tomorrow at 5 p.m., was to say, yes, in fact, the federal order does apply to North Carolina, and it sort of explained how it applies. And so as far as tenants go, they need to sign what's called a CDC declaration form. It's a 2-page form. You can find it online. All you have to do is Google CDC declaration form, sign it, and deliver it to your landlord. Once you do that, as long as everything in it is correct and you sign it and deliver it to your landlord, then a tenant should be protected under the CDC order and now the governor's eviction order.
All right, let's look at that CDC order so that people can see what it looks like. They need to go online to be able to do that. They need to sign it and say all of these things that are in that order are true. Now, do they need to file it with the courthouse? Do they make a copy of it? How do we know that it sticks?
Tenants should read it. If it applies, sign it, date it, give a copy to their landlord. If they can keep a copy too, that's great. They should file it with the courthouse, although they're not obligated to do it. The things that the governor's order did, that the CDC order hadn't done, is it put a burden on landlords to follow certain guidelines and to follow certain processes, and it made it actually a crime for the landlord to not do so. And some of those things include that the landlord now, when they go to file an eviction against a tenant, actually has to provide the tenant with a blank CDC declaration form and then prove to the court by way of affidavit that they've done so. Landlords also have to submit, when they receive a signed declaration, they have to submit that to the court within 5 days of receiving it. And if a landlord wants to challenge the validity of a CDC declaration, they need to do so in writing in court.
Okay, so now there's more stipulations on the landlord, but tenants, you do need to have this so that you can be able to stay and afford you that. And they can always call Legal Aid of North Carolina or get them online, and that is one of the best ways to make sure you know what your rights are. Thank you, Holly, for joining us briefly to be able to kind of break that down, make sure that we know what needs to happen. We want to make sure that you have all of the links and the resources right at your fingertips. You can go in the Who Wants to Know section. It says new eviction moratorium. Renters need this declaration form to be protected. That's where you get it.